As the conflict intensifies between Iran and Israel, lawmakers on Capitol Hill are weighing whether the U.S. should get involved.
The issue has led some lawmakers to propose a congressional vote. Meanwhile, the Iranian regime suggests American involvement would spark, quote, an all-out war. Washington correspondent Maddie Beirtempfel has the very latest.
The United States should not be at war without a vote of Congress.
Virginia Democratic Senator Tim Kaine introduced a war powers resolution. He says if the U.S. goes on offense in any way against Iran, Congress should have a say.
Engaging in a war against Iran, a third war in the Middle East since 2001, would be a catastrophic blunder.
Across the aisle, Kentucky Republican Congressman Thomas Massey introduced his own war powers resolution, saying, quote, this is not our war.
I think we're getting the cart ahead of the horse here.
Senate Majority Leader John Thune says those resolutions won't be needed if Iran ends its nuclear program.
One way or the other, they've got to end their nuclear program.
Pennsylvania Senator John Fetterman says the U.S. should help Israel with that.
I really hope the president finally does to bomb and destroy the Iranian ones.
The president on Truth Social called for, quote, unconditional surrender from Iran and said Tuesday,
look at them so hard and they do anything to our people.
The debate comes as fighting enters its sixth day, with Israeli strikes targeting Iran's capital this morning.
Now, the U.S. is shifting some military assets to be ready to respond in this conflict if needed. And Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth will be on Capitol Hill this morning for a hearing where lawmakers are likely to ask him about this. In Washington, back to you.
So, Maddie, it seems that the Senate and the House are on the same page about these war conversations. So what's the next step now for the war powers resolution?
Well, the motion that Senator Kaine filed is what's considered a privileged measure, and that means that it has to wait 10 days before it can be brought to the floor for a vote. But after that, Senate leaders are required to schedule a vote. We'll be watching this closely.
Maddie, thank you so much for those updates. At 6:16, New York City.